Good morning and welcome to the June 27th, 2023 meeting of the Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am Chair Steve Dennis, and our very first order of business is going to be roll call, and we'll ask Jamie Mann to help us with that.
Chairman Dennis.
Here.
Vice Chair Olson.
Here.
Here. Director Levine.
Here.
Director Newt. Director Patel.
All right, so we do have a quorum, and item 3 is adoption of the agenda. I'll look for a motion to adopt.
Moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Olson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Larson. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. So that's what we've got today. Next is item 4, which is approval of the minutes. 4.1 is approval of February 28th, 2023 Convention and Visitor Bureau meeting minutes. Do we have any changes indicated by anyone? Not seeing anybody. I'll seek a motion to approve.
I'll move the minutes.
Motion made by Vice Chair Olson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hansen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item 5 is business items. 5.1 is a presentation, family-based recreational opportunities, and we have someone who has visited us many times sitting in the back, but I don't think has ever got up to speak in front of the group. This is our staff member, Brad Muckenhern. Welcome, Brad.
Morning. Thank you. As you mentioned, my name is Brad Muckenhern. I'm the Recreation Supervisor here at the city. I'm briefly just going to touch on some community and family events that we offer here. So kind of starting off earlier in the year, we had our egg hunt that was held on April 1st. This year was our largest and most popular event. We did sell out at 600 participants, about 500 of which that event to our ice arena on the turf this year. That was during the April 1st snowstorm. So being that we still had 500 people able to show up, we were very, very happy with that. So it was a good success, and we are continuing to grow that program for our community. The medallion hunt kind of follows in with that spring break time. It is going into its 4th year now. It is a great opportunity for families and friends to get together. Competitive. People are getting out and really getting after it. Currently going on right now, we have movies in the park. We just had our last one on Friday. That was the Minions. We have another one coming up July 21st and August 11th. It's a great family event that features entertainment for kids and adults, foods, giveaways, and many community sponsors there as well. That is hosted with Mo. She is a local realtor here in town, and it is a free family event for everybody to attend. For free Friday events, which is an opportunity for members of the public to come out to different parks within our community. We offer simple pop-up opportunities. Coming this Friday is tie-dye at Highlands Park. We currently have about 800 people interested on Facebook, so we're really excited to see what that turnout is going to be like. Every one of these is at 10 a.m., and you can see we go Highlands, Woodridge Park, Highlands, Woodridge Park. So we try to alternate between two of our most popular parks and give people the opportunity to meet us in their back. Park Run is a new second-year program that we got going on. They did just celebrate their 50th run this last Saturday, every single morning at 9 a.m. at Hamlet Park. It is a family-friendly, inclusive 5K. It is volunteer-based. There is about 10 volunteers required to operate this event every single Saturday morning. It has been fairly successful. The numbers are growing week over week. We're averaging about 14 participants. Kind of just fluctuates throughout the weeks. The only other locations in Minnesota are Eagan and Chaska. So we are one of 3. So I think that's a really unique opportunity here in Cottage Grove. Our annual ice show has been great. This year we were a sold-out crowd in our North Rink. We sold out every single, well, it was a free event, but there was standing room only. It is a partnership with our Figure Skating Booster Club and an extension of our Learn to Skate program that we offer at the ice arena. Of course, Strawberry Fest was just finishing up. As a recreation department, we offer the 5K and the 1K. We had just under 150 participants this year, so it's great. It's still growing, and we love seeing our community utilize our parks and spaces like that. The Mud Run, probably the best way to kick off summer for the kids in our community. It is a partnership that we do with Woodbury Parks and Recreation. We did have to transition locations this year. It's typically been held out at Oakwood Park. Due to the new restaurant that's came in there, we've lost our parking ability. So we did move to Hamlet Park this year, and we were really happy with how it turned out. The trail opportunity for that was awesome. It gave parents the ability to push strollers and take their younger children and truly see the whole course while watching their children. So that was great. There was over 200 participants this year, which was, I believe, more than we've had in the last number of years. So that is on the up and up as well. Our Zombie Run has been kind of a COVID program that we came up with, and it's been popular. That is the second partnership that we run with Woodbury. We do that one actually in Woodbury at Carver Park. So we split. We do the Mud Run here and the Zombie Run there. We've had over 100 participants for that. That is the end of summer, final showdown, if you will. It's a big chase game, tag game. Kids love it. They are hooting and hollering the whole time. And it's one of the favorite programs that our staff operates. Arbor Day is a great community event. We push and promote, looking for volunteers to help our Parks Department, our Rec Department, other Public Works crews plant typically upwards of 100 trees. We also do randomly give away trees. I believe we had over 500 registrants this year that were hoping for the opportunity to receive one of those trees. And of course, it's a great way to continue improving our parks and open spaces. The Food Truck Festival is coming up. We will be partnering with Discover Cottage Grove. The Recreation Department will be providing activities during the duration of the event. Again, it is open to families and people of all ages, so we're really excited to see what comes with that, and hopefully we can turn that into a multi-year event. The old pumpkin truck has just been kind of a little mastermind of mine as a way to figure out how to recycle pumpkins. And that is also continuing to grow. It is a very simple program that we put on. The first year we filled 2 half-ton trucks. Last year we filled our big dump truck, hoping to keep bringing more and more. The Spooktacular, that one is super busy. We have had to continue to add additional hours for that. We transform our South Rink into a Halloween-themed skating opportunity. We served 200 adults and kids this last year. Everybody's coming dressed up in their favorite costume attire. Our recreation department typically picks a theme, and then we stick, with that. I think this last year we were Where's Waldo? So, and of course, a ton of decorations. Super fun event for the family. We're planning on doing 300-person sessions this year. So. The Public Works Open House is a great opportunity for not just the Recreation Department, but the Parks Department, Streets Department, the entire Public Works, to really show off what we do for our community. Families get to see the inner workings, see the trucks up close, touch the trucks, touch the diggers, and it really can help the community understand what it takes to move our city forward. The Paddle Share is a new program that we got going on in the last 3 years. It has been extremely successful. Currently to date, we have over 100 rentals already, and we're 1 month in. So things are rocking and rolling there. I know Discover Cottage Grove has been a great supporter of that, helping push and promote that. So that is going very, very well. Last year, I did bring some snowshoes in to utilize that trailer. Still has some work to do behind it. We're looking to continue to promote that and push winter recreation opportunities here in Cottage Grove. Cosmic Skate, I'll kind of loop that into Public Skate as well. Cosmic Skate is something that we brought on about 3 years ago. We shut off all the lights in the South Rink, turn on the party lights, crank up the music, and friends and family, adults, young and old, all come. They truly, truly love it. Year to date, 6 months in, it is about a quarter of our Public Skate attendance, so it's very, very busy. We've served over 2,000 people for Cosmic Skate, Stick and Puck, Open Skate. So we're rocking and rolling at the ice arena there. And this has actually really driven our birthday party participation. So if any families are looking to host birthday parties, we're really starting to push into that scene there. And of course, the favorite holiday train. We do a food drive at schools in partnership with the bank and the holiday train. Molly and myself and some others coordinate the auction and pickup at Hamlet Park, as well as the dried goods food drive, if you will. I don't know if you guys recognize Santa there at all, but he does make a stop every year there. And of course, the holiday train serving anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 people per year, and all the management of the vendors and the activities going on there. That is all I got for just some of the family and community events that we offer as a recreation department. And if you guys have any recommendations or questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, thank you, Brad. It's quite impressive to see that you have something virtually every single month. And I certainly wouldn't say that's all you have. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot on the plate. So very nice work on that. Board, do we have any comments, questions, feedback? Vice Chair Olson.
Boy, I sure wish you were in charge when I was a kid growing up here in Cottage Grove. We didn't have any of this stuff.
It's always growing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I have to tell you that, my kids, even though they're not really kids anymore, I have an 18 and a 21-year-old, they still love to come to half of this stuff. They've been doing it for years, and they just think it's so much fun. And I think the encouraging thing is the attendance for each of these events continues to grow. So the only thing I would say is, perhaps we're a victim of our own success, because as it continues to get out there in the public that we offer all these things, you have to keep adding sessions and different things, which takes more work. But kudos to you and the team for, continuing to come up with new ideas. And if anybody really wants to go to a fun thing, I have to highly recommend the pumpkin chuck. That was, you're right, it was a stroke of genius. People absolutely love it. So I'm guessing you're going to have a couple trucks worth this year for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Justin. Anyone else? Okay, so one last thing I'll just say on it, the Cosmic Skate, where you can rent out for birthdays. I think next time it's Mr. Olson's birthday, I think we need to all get together down there and have a skating party for him. So
We can accommodate
there we
that.
go. All right, make it happen. All right, thank you, Brad. Appreciate it very much. All right, item 5.2 is the annual report, and Jamie Mann is going to help us with that.
In your emails packet, along with printed in front of you, is a copy of a very extensive, detailed annual report. Now, I'm not going to cover everything that's in there because there's a lot of detail that we accomplished in 2022, but I'm going to go through kind of the top 5 that we pulled out as major accomplishments we'd like to highlight, along with 3 goals for 2023, which we're kind of in the midst of right now. So you can see the beautiful cover here. The whole report highlights many of the accomplishments. We had a lot of goals for 2022. A lot of them were kind of smaller goals, but we needed to build our photo database and social media following. So we were able to accomplish those, along with, in 2022, we ended exceeding our budgeted revenue projections and coming in under our expense budget. So we made a profit last year. We created our second annual visitors guide, which is 36 pages of community amenities and opportunities for visitors, which is distributed at visitors stops all over Minnesota, along with Mall of America, the airport, and then we mail them out to people who request them as well, residents and visitors alike. We were awarded a $14,000 grant from Explore Minnesota at the end of last year, which will actually hit our Q3 2023 numbers. So we're in the process of spending that money now. So we'll talk about that, how those funds were used next year. We also have continued to grow our website visitors and our social media following. So we do a lot of paid social media advertising, and that has grown our following quite tremendously. We've also participated in many events, which most of you have been a part of. We've done the Saints game last year. We did the One Family Tournament. We've done Strawberry Fest. Although we weren't a part of a Holiday Train, we were there for the Holiday Train, along with the Halloween parade and many other events as well. We took a lot of photos last year, so Discover Cottage Grove was a part of many events, more than what's listed here. So looking at our goals moving forward, as Brad had mentioned, we are hosting a food truck festival this year, which we'll talk about in the next item as well. We are potentially to Cottage Grove. Along the right-hand side, you can see some examples of what a mural wall would look like. We know that visitors are drawn to things like that where they can take photos, and it's another unique experience that we could offer to visitors. And then we are also looking at holding a strategic planning session on where we want to take the CVB, kind of a long-term planning of what the CVB should look like moving forward. So that was a quick overview of what's in that extensive packet in front of you, but I would be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Jamie. Do you have any questions for Jamie this morning? Okay, not seeing any. We appreciate that very much. And we will move on to item 5.3, which is the Food Truck Festival 2023 Budget Amendment.
Thank you, Chairman. So we are underway for planning the inaugural food truck event in Cottage Grove. It's our Cottage Grove Food Truck Festival. The date is September 16th at Kingston Park. It will run from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. As Brad mentioned, they're partnering with us to host some kids' activities along with some other local partners hosting kids' activities as well. So looking at the budget and expense projections, since it is affecting the CVB budget, we need to bring it back to you for review. After speaking to our finance department, we've kind of laid out in front of you. Now, I don't want you to be worried about the revenue projections because we are in the works. I'm just giving you what we've actually brought in for revenue. So reservation fees from food trucks are $350 a food truck. We have 25 food trucks partnering sponsorships. We have 4 confirmed, and then we are working on additional sponsorships from other local businesses. We are also partnering with the Lions Club on alcohol sales in an alcohol tent, and they are giving us a portion of the proceeds back. And being that this is our first event, we don't have historical data to be able to accurately project what that donation amount will be, along with kind of overall sponsorships. We're still working on them. We are still reaching out to local businesses to see if they would like to be a partner or sponsor of the event. So know that our projected revenue of $11,750 will grow. That will not be our final projected revenue. Looking at expense projections, we have pretty much gotten all of the expenses listed here that we will have. It's the things that you need to run an event: restrooms, dumpsters, entertainment, couple tents so that people have places to get out of the sun. Kids' activities are donated. We are looking at doing shirts for some volunteers that day. So those are kind of all of the items needed for us to run the event. We are projecting our expense total to come in at $13,650. So again, the revenue is slightly less than the expense, but we do expect more revenue to come in. But with no historical data, it's hard to project what those numbers will end up as. So before you is a recommendation, and I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Can we go back to that previous slide?
Sure.
So a couple thoughts. One, the percentage of alcohol sales from the Lions Club. Lions are pretty generous with what they do for us. And I can imagine that, during an event like that, that there's going to be a decent amount of product sold. So I'm sure that'll be very, very helpful to us. And then the second item will go down to expense projections, entertainment of 2 performers. I want to go back a few years ago to when I was MC for an event for Basic Needs. And there was a young lady who lived here in Cottage Grove who was trying to kind of break through into the music scene. And so she came and performed and volunteered her time to do that. So I'm wondering if we were to advertise out a little bit to see if there's anyone that might be interested in doing some entertainment for us that wouldn't cost us anything, and if we could tweak that line, I mean, we could eat up a lot of that difference right then and there. So just a thought, if anybody else here has anything. Vice Chair Olson.
We actually had our June Cottage Grove Lions meeting last week, Tuesday, and this was a primary topic of conversation because it is the inaugural event. So there were a lot of questions about what exactly, we should be doing, what should we not be doing, those kinds of things. What I will tell you is that our intent as a club is basically cover our costs, and then the rest will go to Discover Cottage Grove, which is would normally obviously the more we can sell, the better off we're going to be. Now, currently, it is not our intent to offer food because it's a food truck event. We did offer food at Strawberry Fest. Generally, when we do events like this, we'll either do hamburgers or brats or something like that. But if there was a desire to have us do food, I would need to know that. We have our own grills and all that kind of stuff, so we certainly can, but we don't want to take any money away from the food trucks, being that they're paying a fee to be there. One of the things that we probably need to do in the next short time is talk about what sorts of things you'd like us to offer. Because we can run the gamut. Again, we can do, we can do water, we can do Gatorade, we can do soda, we can do beverages of a more adult nature. But we just would need to know what we should or shouldn't do. So at some point, it would be good for us to sit down and have a conversation within the next couple weeks so that we can organize effectively. With respect to the entertainment, that was a primary question that came up at our club meeting last week because one of the things that we have found to be the case is that if you're going to have an event like this, something similar, entertainment's kind of a big deal for the people that are in the park. You don't want it to just be quiet, right? So I'm very pleased to see that we're looking at a stage. We're looking at some music production. Those are all questions that came up in our club meeting that I could not answer, but now I can. So I'll share that with the board, but that'll help us obviously keep the energy level up in the park and hopefully get people in the right mood to maybe buy one or two of our beverages of a more adult nature, and that just means more money for the CVB. The last thing that I wanted to mention here is there was a conversation about wristbands. At Strawberry Fest, in order to buy an adult beverage, you have to have a wristband. And I'm just curious, has that been discussed? Last I heard, I thought Swashco Cares was going to maybe help out with some of that stuff. Is that still the case?
Yes, Vice Chair Olson. So Washco Cares will be a community partner with us. They will be selling the wristbands and keeping the funds from those sales.
Okay.
As kind of a donation to them for participating in the
Do
event.
you know how much they're going to charge?
I believe it's $2.
Good, just like Strawberry Fest then.
Yes.
That's a really reasonable price. That's good. And they're going to be able to keep that revenue.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I like hearing that. Okay, good. Because that's one thing that we can do too, but we'd prefer to let somebody else do it if they want to do it. So that's one less thing we have to worry about. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you, Jamie. Couple little bits of information there for you to work on. So, all right, we'll move on to item. There it is on the screen. We'll need a motion to approve adding the revenue and expenses for the Cottage Grove Food Truck Festival to the Convention and Visitor Bureau 2023 budget. Need a motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Vice Chair Olson. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hansen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now we'll move on to 5.4, which is a 2023 Quarter 1 lodging tax revenue and 2024 preliminary budget approval. And Jamie, we'll just keep working with you.
Thank you, Chairman Dennis. So looking at a quick recap of the revenue collection for this quarter, or this past quarter, we came in slightly under our averaged estimate for lodging tax, which is fairly standard for our hotel facilities in Cottage Grove. We budgeted $16,587. We kind of average lodging tax throughout the year, so quarter one tends to come in a little bit lower. quarters 2, 3, and 4 tend to come in a bit higher. So we were slightly under our projected lodging tax for quarter 1, but it's understood because it's averaged throughout the year. We also had Visitor's Guide ad sales, which hit our revenue in quarter 1 of this year, bringing our total revenue received to $18,695, which is 12.7% over our projected revenue for quarter 1. Looking at 2024, so moving ahead to next year, we have been averaging about a 64 to 65% occupancy rate based on the past couple years for lodging tax revenue, up our lodging tax projection for our 2024 budget to 63% occupancy rate, which is 3% higher than we have budgeted in the past. That would bring our total yearly lodging tax projection to $72,276. We are also looking at doing Visitor's Guide ad sales for next year, projecting the revenue at $5,095. One thing we haven't kind of laid out in our budget, although it's kind of happened on the back end, is America Rescue Plan Act, I believe is what it's called, or ARPA funds, have been used to cover the salary and benefits of our marketing and communication specialist. So this year we're laying out all of our expenses and revenue in the budget for you. So ARPA funds will cover $54,693 of the salary and benefits for the year. We are also using our current estimate of $11,500 in revenue for the food truck festival for next year, bringing our total projected revenue to $64. In looking at our expenses, we typically break down our expenses into marketing expenses, operating expenses, and other expenses. One thing to note, other expenses has been the payback to the city and the EDA for the startup costs associated with the CVB. We are finishing those payments in 2023. So those at the end of quarter 2 of this year will be done. So we will be dropping off that category moving forward because our payback is complete. But looking at marketing expenses, that includes things like hosting our website and social media advertising, going to local events to market the CVB, along with transcription services. We do some advertising and publications. So our total marketing expenses are estimated at $41,199. Operating expenses include things like postage for mailing the visitors' guides and continuing education. We are part of the MACVB, which is a Visitors Bureau organization for the entire state. We also have our 5% administrative fee and 25% contractual services to the city under operating expenses. And there you see now this year, the marketing and communication specialist salary and benefits portion that falls under the CVB. So total operating expenses come in just over $107,000. So in looking at the budget overall, we are projecting a loss for next year of about $4,900 based on our projections. One thing to note too in expenses, we do have some leftover swag and stuff like that, so we were able to lower some of our expenses for next year based on things that we still had in stock. So that was taken into account when we looked at our budgets. So with that before you is a recommendation, and I'd be happy to go back to any slides or stand for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or feedback on this particular budget? All right, not seeing any, we do have a motion here to approve the 2024 Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau preliminary budget. I'll need a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve.
Motion made by Director Levine. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Director Hansen. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, thank you, Jamie. We'll move on to item 6.0, which is other business, and 6.1 is Convention and Visitor Bureau comments. Do we have any comments today? Okay, not seeing any. We'll go to item 6.2, which is response to previous comments. We have actually do have one. It's 6.2.A, historical Visitors Bureau P&L review and fund separation info. And our finance director, Brenda Malinowski, is going to help us with that. Good morning.
Good morning. At the last meeting, there was a request for the accounting history on the Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau, so that was provided in your packet. And as we were reviewing that accounting history, we went back to the resolution that established the Convention and Visitors Bureau. It stated that the monies for the Convention and Visitors Bureau shall be kept in a separate designated fund identified as the Bureau Fund. In government accounting, a fund is used to show accountability and compliance in collection and use of public resources. So think of it as a self-balancing set of accounts. So there's assets, liabilities, equity, and then the operating activities of the fund. So right now, the CVB is kept in the EDA fund, and so for 2023, we are going to be creating a new fund, putting the monies that are currently in the fund at the end of 2022 and establishing that new fund. So if you have any questions about that, I can answer that, or if you have any questions about the accounting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this? Feedback, comments? Okay, I think it's a great idea to separate that out. So thank you very much for that, Brenda. We will move on to item 7, which is workshop. We do not have any today. And before we get to number 8, which is adjournment, I will make the announcement that the next meeting for our group will be Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 at 7:30 a.m. right here in the council chambers at the City of Cottage Grove. So with that said, item 8 is adjournment. I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Director Larson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Levine. Any further discussion? Not seeing any. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
0. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.